What's going on, guys? This is Dave from PNP, and I'm here to talk to you about Underdog Fantasy. I just want to remind you that it's the easiest place to play. There ain't too many places where you can win 20 times your money in the same night, utilizing higher lowers in the pick'em game. And now they have pick'em insurance, where while you won't win the same amount of money that you did before, you can miss one and still bring home some money. So if you do it 3 times, you could potentially still get your money back if you end up missing one. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com and sign up today and use the code PNP when you do. And the $100 deposit match still stands. What's going on, guys? This is Dave, one half of PNP. I'm here to go over what's going on with regards to the wire. Hopefully you guys made it to the next round. You're in the semifinal rounds of what I dub as the money rounds. Because typically, if you win, you're probably in the money. If you lose, you got a shot to at least get your money back. Because now you're probably in the final 4. So the goal here is to survive in advance. The way that I typically handle it at this point in the game, if I can win one of the last 2 weeks, that means at a minimum I'm getting my money back. But if I can win the next 2 weeks, I'm gonna pretty much come home with some dough. So welcome to the show, guys. We have some injuries this week. Jonathan Taylor got hurt, and if you somehow survived that, more power to you. But another person that got hurt was Jalen Hurts, and there's probably a lot of folks who were able to advance with that. Because if you had Jalen Hurts, you most likely were able to have, you most likely had a bye. So you didn't have to play nobody, so you're already in the semifinals, so congrats with that. Or you're like me that had to play somebody, and you had Jalen Hurts, and he balled out of his mind, and he got hurt, and now you're going into the semifinals with no quarterback. So I got some names for you that you could potentially go get. It's probably available in a decent chunk of these leagues. There's some viable options, so we'll get into that. So a couple quarterbacks to consider, especially if you got the Jalen Hurts injury. You got Daniel Jones. You got Zach Wilson. You got Brock Purdy. You got Jared Goff. We'll go over the matchups. We'll break it down real quick, and we'll go from there. This episode might not be that long because I got a couple things I got going on today. Tyler Lockett's been struggling anyway because he's been dealing with some injuries. So, but you could probably go and find, you could potentially replace that production. Another concern you might have to have is Justin Jefferson. So keep an eye on that. But the thing about Jalen Hurts is, unless he's going to play this week, which is very likely, you still need to go ahead and get a quarterback. Because I have a feeling that they make the decision to play him this week. Because there's talk that he still might play. If they do make the decision to play him this week, there's a high likelihood if the Eagles win and clinch the number 1 bye, he ain't going to be available to you on week 17. So you're going to have a quarterback for week 17 if you advance anyway. Or if you lose, you can at least get the 3rd place money. So you need to go ahead. Even if you have Hurts, you need to go ahead and prepare yourself to go get a quarterback. So let's talk strategy of how you want to handle this. Let me share my screen real quick. Give me 1 second. One second. Bear with me, guys. Here's my dilemma, though, when you look at this schedule. One of the guys I named was Zach Wilson. If there's a chance that Jalen Hurts is going to play, then Zach Wilson is probably not a viable option. Because that means you got your hands kind of forced. You're gonna have to make a decision now. But at New York, you got a pretty good chance to pull it off. But if there's a chance that Jalen Hurts is gonna play on Saturday, I want to wait it out and play my chance. And the other thing that sucks too is that Jalen Hurts plays at 425. So you really got a limited option about your quarterback situation. So you gotta pay attention to the news, you might not have a choice but to assume he's not going to play. And if that's the case, then yeah. So the order of operations for me, if it goes Daniel Jones, Zach Wilson, Jared Goff, that's the combination for me. Who to replace for Taylor? And Aaron Rodgers might be available, but man, that's a tough one. I'm thinking Zach Moss, but I gotta check. I'm leaning towards Zach Moss here, and he's probably available. Zach Moss, 24 carries. Yeah, because it looks like Jonathan Taylor's out for the season. Yeah, Zach Moss is the guy you want. If you can get Zach Moss, he's the guy you want if you have Jonathan Taylor. So Zach Moss is the answer. Zach Moss. And if you were able to get to the next round with Jonathan Taylor, congrats, bro. I didn't see too many of those in my leagues. The folks who had Jonathan Taylor didn't make it unless they had a bye. And most folks that had Jonathan Taylor did not have a bye. As for the wide receiver, and if all else fails, if you're more risk averse and if you're willing to take the risk, you can just pick up Gardner Minshew. You know he's going to start if Jalen Hurts doesn't play. So if push comes to shove, you can roll with Minshew. Let's look at the Eagles' schedule real quick. Oh, he's questionable. So much for that, huh? He'll probably play, though. Oh, personal matter. Yeah, so he's questionable because of he had to go to Mike Leach's funeral. So all else fails, man, you can always just go with Minshew. That's like that might be the best route to go, considering that the game is going to be at 425. You don't want to trust the other guys, but the option is not going to be that viable, guys. So if all else fails, you can go with Minshew, and especially if you got a Philadelphia wide receiver like me, that might not be a bad idea. So all else fails, you can go with Minshew. So we'll see. Oh God, I have to drop one more player. Let me manage IR real quick. But yeah. I'm not shocked at all. I had him ranked number 2. And I said if you take him number 1 overall, I wouldn't be mad at it. I'm not shocked. I mean, because when you go into a fantasy season, and I said this on Sunday, you rank the... what the heck is that on my floor? You rank the players assuming that they're going to be healthy. So, yeah. I mean, because injuries can happen to anybody, man. You know? And it isn't like he got injured. Like, and the other thing, too, like, a lot of McCaffrey's injuries were different. I'm rolling with Minshew. What's the worst that can happen? I lose? Luckily, I built my team. I picked up Jalen Hurts at late in the draft. Like, not late in the draft, but I picked him up. When did I draft him? I drafted him in the 7th round. So I was able to build my team around him. You know? So hopefully, if my as long as my quarterback doesn't give me like 2 points, the rest of my team could probably carry him. But we'll see how it goes. It'll be interesting to see. Interesting to see. I might have to go pick up another defense, too, to keep it a buck. See here. Jags D might be interesting this week. I'm going to probably put more in a different order. But, yeah, that's the plan today. Sorry to hear that, man. Yeah, it's probably him. That worked out for you big time if you did that. Although Foreman, I don't know if I can trust Foreman in the playoffs at this rate. Chuba's starting to show things, but it'll be interesting to see how Detroit go, how it's going to be with Detroit. Taylor didn't finish second, did he? He was 26. He was a 26 rated running back. Matter of fact, let's pull up the data. We're pretty much at the end of the ride here. Safe bet. If you took Christian McCaffrey or Austin Eckler near the top of your draft, you did all right. Josh Jacobs was a steal. Derrick Henry worked out for you. Saquon Barkley was a steal. Chubb, I guess you consider a steal because he was in the 2nd round. Stevenson, same thing, later rounds. Pollard was a steal. Cook went about where he was supposed to go. Mixon went about where he was supposed to go. Jamal Williams ended up being a steal. You know? Bad as DJ Moore's been, he's 31st in fantasy. It's kind of wild to think, huh? That's a flex play. The one that I loved looking at is the tight end one though. Look at this. Number 1, number 2, which is what I told you guys at the beginning. The biggest over 100-point delta between the two. And Andrews and Hawkinson are tied. That's hilarious. NTN. Travis NTN here. Now, as for running backs, man, there ain't really, at this point, other than Zach Moss, I'm trying to think, were there any other major injuries that happened at the running back position over the weekend? Trying to think if there's any other ones. I'm not sure if there's any other ones. I'm taking Terry here. Give me Scary Terry. Give me Scary Terry here. KJ Osborne had a phenomenal game, but if I was you guys, I would tread lightly with that situation. So just keep that in mind. Like if I would be very cautious about that one. Very cautious on that one. But man, it's gonna be any more questions? I would say Jerick McKinnon, but I think at this point everybody's got picked up Jerick McKinnon, so that's not a one to worth grabbing. But I do have some concerns about some of the guys I have on some of my rosters. Like I've been riding David Montgomery over the past couple of weeks with Herbert being out, but Herbert's scheduled to come back. He might be available in some leagues unless you sit in IR somewhere. Another guy that you could probably potentially pick up is him. Another guy you could probably pick up too. I already talked about Deion Jackson potentially with him being being out for the season. Not Deion Jackson, Zach Moss. Deion Jackson is your secondary if you really need something, but I think Zach Moss is going to get the bulk of the work there. Tyler Allier for the Falcons is going to be interesting because Caleb Huntley's out for the season, so he's going to get more work. I think Cordell Patterson is going to get work as well, so you just got to keep those things in mind. With regards to wide receivers, I've been talking about Donovan Peoples-Jones and Darius Slayton for a while. I'm off the. Chris Moore is still interested for Houston, but I'm kind of off that train because it looks like there's a chance that Brandon Cooks might play this week, and Nico Collins. So that's going to put Chris Moore back in the back burner. So just keep that in mind too. Tight end, I mean, pick your poison, man. The tight end from Tennessee, I can't pronounce his name. He's been balling pretty well as of late. If you really need one that bad, and if you need defenses, I mean, just find a defense that's playing a terrible team this week. Hunt or Patterson? Chubb's questionable. Keep an eye on that because if Chubb doesn't play, the answer is Hunt. Otherwise, Patterson. Zay Jones or Stevenson at the Plex? Stevenson. Judy, Zay Jones, Stevenson. Give me Stevenson and Zay Jones. Jones is on a heater right now, so give me my chances with Zay Jones on this one. Fields. Fields is the answer every week. I don't know why we have this debate, and I don't know why you guys didn't take my advice and trade a quarterback. You shouldn't be having debates like Burrow or Fields. It's always Fields. Fields every week. The only guys you're going to play above Fields is Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. Other than that, the answer is Fields. Yeah, that guy. That's the tight end from the Titans. All right. Last call for questions because I need to shut this down. I've got all this noise happening in my house, so I gotta shut down. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I certainly do. All right, guys, hit me on Twitter if you got any more questions. With that, I'm out. It looks like I'm going to be doing I'm going to be a guest on the Lions podcast, Roar of the Lions from the UK. It's going to be on Thursday afternoon. I'll keep you guys posted once I get everything squared away. So it's going to be fun. We're going to have a blast. We're going to do a game preview. It won't be on our channel. It's going to be on their channel. And for that in mind, I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.